what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out in the real estate industry?
Okay, so the advice I'd give to someone starting out, well, one, there are so many ways to find buyers and sellers. Don't try to do all of them. If you try to do a little bit of everything, you're never going to get anywhere. So if I were a new real estate agent today, I would pick 2 or 3 different ways to acquire clients and really dig deep and focus on those things. So maybe it would be expired listings and door knocking, or expired listings and mailing, something like that, So I would say that's something that's very important when someone's new. And really, it's about understanding what they need to do to get clients. Because if you ask most real estate agents, and I'm not kidding here, how do you find listings? They don't know. They say, oh, referrals, SOI, but how do you build a machine? How do you create streams of incoming leads that are continue to come over and over and over? And that's the question that real estate agents need to ask themselves. So really focus on learning how to build systems that are going to get your phone ringing. And you do that through the trainings and educations that we offer through our platforms.
Oh, it's so good, Tarek. So when you talk about building systems, we have all of that available through EXP. We have it available through your trainings. Boy, you've been on lately. I mean, I think I get a pop-up about, I don't know, every other day, Tarek's live, which is amazing, right? And I think that as leaders, especially those of you that are out there that are leaders that are leading teams, I think that we've got to show people that we're willing to do the same, what we're asking our teams to do. And Tarek, I see you doing that every day. So thank you.
Uh-oh. I think Lisa's muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Arie, what advice would you give to somebody starting out in real estate today?
I mean, I think they touched on it. I think don't try to focus on everything. Focus on a few things and do them well. I think for me, the best thing was to, dive into education and also be really structured with your day. I think having time blocking and really give yourself a purpose for that day, and don't be too hard on yourself. Because I think in the beginning, everyone wants to just be successful like that. And it took me, honestly, I think 6 months to do my first deal. And then I kind of figured out, for me, the way I started in real estate was I came from racing. So I leaned on my sphere of people that were helping sponsoring my race car. So I was kind of in a circle of wealthy individuals. But what I really did was I combed the MLS. I looked at off-market properties, and I found those few properties where I thought, okay, someone could make some money on this. And I brought it to one investor, and right away he purchased the property. I actually wrote the contract in my name, and I assigned in Arizona, you can assign a contract. So it's basically like flipping paper. So I would write the contract in my name. And within the inspection window, I would look for an investor, and then I would write it in their name and transfer the property to that investor. Then we would close on the deal. I would list it. I would sell it. I'd show them, okay, we made a little profit here, made $30,000 to $45,000, and then we rinse and repeat. So I kind of found my niche. So I think as a new agent, finding your niche, being patient with yourself, and being really structured with your time.
That's so good. Hey, Arie, were you fixing the houses up before you were relisting them like what Tarek does? Or were you just, finding a smoking deal, assigning the contract, and then putting it back on the market?
No, so I would target a neighborhood. So I would farm a neighborhood. And so, for example, if something popped up, I'd have an alert on MLS. So let's say your threshold's like 500,000. So anything under 500,000, it pops up. As soon as it hits the market, I would write an offer on that property in my name. Then I would lock it up. And then within the 10-day inspection window, I would hustle like crazy, reach out to people, be like, this is a great deal. We'll close on the deal. I didn't charge them anything. I would just take the buyer broker commission. Then I would list it for free because I was new, and I would sell it for them. So all they'd have to pay is the selling broker. And then we'd turn a little profit, and then I would gain their trust. And then eventually those little investment properties that I was flipping the paper on, they entrusted me to sell their luxury homes. And then it kind of rolled into becoming a luxury agent because my clientele were initially investors, but they were also well off. So they, trusted me. And that's kind of how I built my business in the beginning.
So good. There's so many hacks. Tarek, I'm going to jump to you real quick because you semi-built your business maybe not assigning contracts, but if you were out there today, I mean, you're in a pretty tough market out in California, not tough, but expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so what would you do, like taking the Arie story? I don't know. I think it's just interesting because I think the two of you kind of worked the same way. And I think that you still have teams doing that for you, Tarek, because you've got your whole entity, Tarek Buys Houses. So kind of taking what Arie said, because I love it and I think it's a niche, what would you add to that?
In respect to, I'm sorry, Lisa, what was the question again?
No, that's okay. Well, I didn't really give you a question, so that wasn't really fair. Going into, you have teams out because you have teams that call me and they're like, hey, we found a house in Austin, Texas, Lisa, go look it up, or San Antonio. Like, I get a lot of calls from your people because you're scouring the country for homes, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to flip them, you're going to sell them, you're going to assign them, or you're going to hold them. And I've worked with your team enough now to know, like, you have certain areas you guys like to hold, some you like to flip, blah, blah, blah. So kind of going along the lines of what Arie said, if a new agent out there, because I actually like that, somebody paying attention to the market, getting it under contract, assigning, and then going out and talking to people and saying, hey, because, it's interesting. Grant said, you don't have anything until you got the deal. He talked about that this week in Big Time, man. Like forget everything else, forget all the money, forget everything. Because if you don't secure the deal, you got nothing.
Yep.
So what would you say? Maybe somebody's out there trying to secure some deals to maybe assign some contracts. Do you think that's a good strategy today? That's question to you, Tarek. Sorry.
100%. I mean, wholesaling is a great way to generate income. It really, really is. And it's very similar to flipping houses. In respect to finding the deal, negotiating the deal, and signing the contract. The difference is once you flip the house, if you're going to flip the house, well, you got to come up with the money. You got to buy the house, hire the contractor, fix it up, and then sell it. When you're wholesaling, after you get the contract signed, you're not buying the house, which means you have no risk. If the market drops 30%, well, you're not losing anything because you don't own the house. So wholesaling is fantastic because once you get that contract signed, you can assign that to a fix and flip investor who will then buy it from you, fix it up, and sell it. Talking about real estate agents, I hear all the time, it takes a long time to make money, this and that. And I'm just going to say, it does not take a long time to make money in this business. I am so sick and tired of hearing that. When I figured out or learned about expired listings, I was a 20-year-old kid making $0 a month to almost $40,000 a month, felt like almost overnight. And I found that through expired listings. So for new real estate agents, I would get out there and I would 100% focus on expired listings, make those commissions, and then reinvest a portion of those commissions back into marketing in their local market to build a brand. So the expired listings is a tool for two things. One, to generate sales, but two, to earn commissions to reinvest into your business to start building your brand.
Could not have said it better. Okay, as we wrap up, I'd like to just get